All right, so are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're diving deep today.
Leap.
Deep into Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Nice.
It's like the self-help book, right?
Yeah.
You sent over some excerpts that you wanted to focus on, so that's what we're going to do today. Think of this like your own like custom cheat sheet for effectiveness.
Love that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that Covey, he doesn't just give you like surface level tips
Right.
or tricks.
Yeah.
He really wants us to go deep and examine our paradigms.
Okay.
And paradigms are basically those mental blueprints that we use to see the world, right? It's how we understand things.
Okay.
And so remember that optical illusion with the old woman and the young lady?
Oh, yeah. I see both.
It's the same image, but two totally different perceptions.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, it makes you realize how much we're probably missing, right?
Totally.
Based on, like, what if my paradigm is totally wrong? And I'm like, that's probably why I keep running into the same roadblocks over and over.
Yeah.
And Covey's saying that, like, real change requires a paradigm shift, not just, like, tweaking our behaviors a little bit.
100%. It's ditching the wrong map entirely, right?
Oh, interesting.
And Covey, he actually calls those quick fix solutions a personality ethic, where you're focusing on appearances, kind of like a Band-Aid approach. But he's all about what he calls the character ethic.
Oh, okay.
Which is really about building on principles like integrity and fairness, those deeper values. That's the foundation for lasting effectiveness.
Okay, so it's deeper than just, like, learning a few tricks. It's about building that internal compass.
That's it.
So I know which way to go no matter what,
Yep.
even when it's tough.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of tough, I remember that story Covey tells about trying to force his daughter to share.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's the goose and the golden eggs.
Oh.
So he was so focused on, getting his daughter to share. Like, that was the golden egg.
Yeah.
But he realized that it was actually hurting their relationship, which was the goose.
Right.
Right. And so that's what he calls the PPC balance. We need to nurture our capabilities and those relationships for sustainable results, not just, short-term wins.
Okay. Wow. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a big takeaway for me because, like, I'm so focused on hitting deadlines at work that I am neglecting my team sometimes.
Right.
And in the long run, that's not going to work.
No.
And this leads right into habit 1, right?
Absolutely.
Be proactive.
Yeah.
And it's not just about taking initiative. It's like choosing how we respond no matter what, all right?
I said.
Like Viktor Frankl, even in a concentration camp, found freedom to choose.
That's powerful. Proactivity is all about recognizing that power to choose.
Okay.
And Covey even suggests, like, watching your language, like swapping I have to with I choose to. It's an instant mindset shift, right?
Totally.
It's focusing on our circle of influence, the things we can control, instead of just always getting caught up in that circle of concern, which is all the worry stuff.
The worry stuff, yeah. So, like, ditching the victim mentality and becoming, like, the CEO of my own life.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, I can dig it. But where do I even, like, start? Like, I need some direction,
Right.
Like a mission statement, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good point. Which takes us right into habit 2. Begin with the end in mind.
Oh, yes.
That funeral visualization thing that he talks about.
It's intense but effective.
Oh, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about your legacy, what you want to leave behind.
It does.
This habit is about mentally creating that desired outcome before you take action.
Oh.
Like an architect with a blueprint, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've got to have that vision first.
Okay.
And it's all about aligning your goals with your core values, those things that really matter to you.
Oh, okay. Okay. So instead of just, like, setting any old goal,
Right.
it needs to be something that really speaks to me and what I care about.
Exactly.
You know what? I love that story of how Covey rescripted himself.
Oh, tell me about it.
After seeing his son's success with Star Wars.
Yeah, that's a great story. He really shifted his whole paradigm to support his son's passion,
Yeah, he did.
It's powerful stuff.
It is.
And that's the power of aligning your actions with those deep-seated values, right?
Yeah.
And once you have that clear direction, it's all about prioritizing those actions, which takes us beautifully to habit 3, put first things first.
Yes.
Time to break out the time management matrix.
Yes. The 4 quadrants. Oh, my gosh.
Urgent, important.
Yeah.
Not urgent, but important.
I always get stuck in the urgent stuff.
Yeah.
I never have time for those, like, important but not urgent things.
Right, the quadrant 2 activity.
Or quadrant 2.
Covey says those are like the secret sauce
Oh.
to really getting what matters most done.
I remember him talking about saying no to good things so you can say yes to the best things. But honestly,
Yeah.
I struggle with that.
We all do.
Yeah.
We all do.
Big time.
But, think about those excerpts that you sent over, right? Like, what really resonated with you? Was it that feeling of being overwhelmed?
Yes.
Or, like, you're not making progress on what truly matters?
Yes.
That's where habit 3 comes in,
Okay.
It's like your superpower to tackle that.
So one of the excerpts that I sent was about, like, feeling stuck in a rut,
Yeah.
Like, I'm busy, but I'm not really accomplishing anything meaningful.
Right.
So are you saying that that's probably a sign I'm neglecting quadrant 2?
It's definitely worth exploring,
Okay.
Like, let's unpack what those quadrant 2 activities even look like in your life.
Yes. Let's.
And how even small shifts in your schedule
Yeah.
can make a huge difference.
Okay. Let's do it. This is getting good.
I know, right? I'm excited.
Me too. So I'm ready to tackle this whole quadrant 2 thing.
Yes.
But, like, what does that actually look like in my daily life? It feels a bit abstract.
Yeah, I get it. It's about identifying those activities that are important, right?
Yeah.
But not urgent. They contribute to your long-term goals.
Okay.
But they don't have that, like, immediate
Got it.
fire to put out.
Okay.
So in one of your excerpts, you mentioned wanting to write a novel.
Yes.
Where does that fall on your priority list?
Oh, man. That's been, like, a dream for years.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always something more pressing,
Yeah.
Deadlines at work,
Right.
errands to run. Writing just keeps getting pushed aside.
That's classic quadrant 2. It's important to you,
Yeah.
but it's not urgent in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's the trap, right?
Yeah.
Urgent things just scream for your attention, but important things kind of quietly fade away.
Yes.
And that's what Covey says, You've got to learn to say no to good things to make space for the best things.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. So how do I actually do that?
Right.
My schedule's already packed.
Well, even small shifts can make a big impact.
Right.
So think about this week. What's one quadrant 2 activity, even for like 30 minutes, that would move you closer to that novel?
Maybe outlining a chapter.
Yes.
Or even, like, just brainstorming some ideas.
There you go.
That wouldn't take too long.
Exactly. And scheduling it is key.
Okay.
Like, literally put it in your calendar. Treat it like an important meeting.
Oh,
I
what?
can't miss.
Okay, I'm putting it in right now.
Yes.
Operation Novel Brainstorming. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Done.
I love it.
I feel more in control already.
Right. That's the power of habit 3.
Okay.
It sets the stage for, like, succeeding with others. Which brings us to habit 4.
Oh.
Think win-win.
Okay.
It's moving away from that, like, fixed pie mentality
Yeah.
and finding solutions where everyone benefits.
That's a big one, especially at work, Sometimes it feels like a constant competition. Like, if someone else gets a promotion, that means I lose out.
Right. That's what Covey calls the scarcity mentality.
Okay.
Like, there's not enough to go around. But he's all about what he calls the abundance mentality.
Okay.
Like, there's plenty of success for everyone.
I like that.
Right.
It's like instead of fighting for crumbs, we can bake a bigger pie together.
Exactly.
See? I like it.
Remember that story he tells about setting up those win-win agreements with his daughter about using the family car?
Oh, yeah.
Clear expectations, mutually beneficial outcomes.
Yeah. In one of the excerpts I sent, I mentioned struggling with delegating tasks at work. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong, Instead of just, like, handing off work, what if I involve my team more?
Yes.
In creating solutions?
That's the win-win spirit.
Okay.
Empowering others, finding those solutions that meet everyone's needs.
Okay. Mind blown. Delegation just went from a chore to an opportunity to collaborate.
Right.
Wow. And that leads us to habit 5.
Yes.
Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Empathy time.
This is huge, right? It's about putting aside our own assumptions and truly listening to understand the other person's perspective.
Yeah.
And Covey tells that great story about, like, that dad
Yeah.
was trying to help his son with his, problems at school,
Yeah.
but he keeps missing the mark
Yeah.
because he's not really listening.
I do that.
We all do it.
I totally do that. Like, I'm jumping in with solutions before I even really understand the problem.
Exactly.
It's like I'm just, like, stuck in my own head, reacting based on my own experience instead of connecting with what the other person is feeling.
Exactly.
Right.
And Covey calls it, like, autobiographical responses.
Oh!
Where we're just, like, reacting based on our own baggage
Right.
instead of being present for the other person.
Ouch. That's me. So how do I break out of that?
Well, the most powerful step is reflecting feeling.
Okay.
So instead of just repeating what you heard, you connect with the emotion behind it. So instead of saying you're frustrated with work, you might say, it sounds like you're feeling really discouraged and stuck.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's so much more impactful. It's like you're actually acknowledging their feelings.
Yes.
Like validating their experience.
Exactly.
Not just like...
When it creates that safe space for open communication.
Oh, yeah.
Real connection.
Okay. I'm adding reflect feeling to my mental toolbox. Gosh, this deep dive is like therapy and a masterclass all rolled into one.
That's what we aim for. Yeah. And, when we truly understand each other, that's when we can tap into habit 6, synergize.
Okay.
It's that magical 1 + 1 = 3 equation.
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Where collaboration creates something bigger and better than individual efforts.
It's like those brainstorming sessions, and suddenly everyone's ideas are just bouncing off of each other.
Totally.
And then something amazing emerges.
Yes. And Covey tells that great story about that graduate class.
Yeah.
Where open communication and trust led to those, unexpected breakthroughs.
Wow.
Synergy thrives in an environment
Yeah.
where differences are celebrated, not feared.
You know what? One of my excerpts was about feeling like my team isn't reaching its full potential.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're missing that synergy piece. Like, we're all competent individuals.
Yeah.
But something's not clicking.
Yeah. It's worth considering. Are you creating space for open dialogue? Are you encouraging diverse perspectives?
I think I might be too focused on getting everyone to agree.
Right.
Instead of leveraging those different viewpoints.
Yeah.
I need to, shake things up a bit.
That's the first step, creating that environment where synergy can flourish. And finally, we come to habit 7, sharpen the saw.
Oh.
It's all about self-renewal.
Okay.
And those 4 key dimensions.
Yes.
Physical, spiritual, mental, and social emotional.
Okay, so this is where I admit I'm failing miserably. Oh, come on.
Between work and life, self-care is usually the first thing to go.
You're not alone, trust me. You're not alone.
Okay.
But remember how Covey frames this? It's a responsibility.
Yeah.
It's an investment in our ability to contribute.
Oh?
It's not selfish. It's actually essential for sustainable effectiveness.
That makes sense. Can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Exactly. And it's about finding what works for you in each dimension.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 20 minutes of yoga, reading an inspiring book, spending quality time with loved ones, volunteering for a cause you care about,
Yeah. One of the excerpts that I sent over was about feeling burnt out and disconnected.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a sign I'm, neglecting my saw sharpening.
It's definitely worth paying attention to.
Yeah.
So think about this. What's one small thing you can do in each dimension this week to just recharge and renew?
Okay, I'm game.
Let's see.
A walk in nature for physical.
Perfect.
Maybe finally finishing that meditation app I started.
For spiritual. For mental, I'll dedicate some time to learning that new software I've been putting off.
Yes.
And for social emotional, I schedule a coffee date with a friend I haven't seen in ages.
Beautiful.
Okay.
That's a great start.
I like it.
And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress.
Oh.
Small, consistent efforts make a big difference over time.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
I'm feeling energized,
good,
inspired, and a little overwhelmed.
That's good.
In a good way.
Yes.
So, what's the key takeaway here? How do I make all of these habits stick?
Right.
Not just for, a week, but for the long haul. Okay, so I'm still, buzzing from all these insights. It really does feel like Covey's given us this, whole new operating system for life.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it.
But the question is, how do we make these habits stick? Not just for a week or two,
Right.
But, for the long haul.
Well, I think the beauty of it is Covey doesn't give you a rigid formula. These are principles, not practices.
Right.
And so they're adaptable to your life.
Yeah.
It's like he's given us this toolbox. And you get to choose which tool works best for you.
Okay, so it's not about being perfect. It's about finding what works for me.
Exactly.
That definitely takes the pressure off.
Oh, good.
One of the excerpts that I sent was about feeling overwhelmed by trying to change everything at once.
Yeah.
Like maybe I need to focus on just one habit at a time.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight.
Right, right.
Just pick one habit that resonates with you the most right now, the one that addresses your biggest challenge, or maybe the one that you're just, like, most excited about.
Okay. I think for me, it's got to be habit 3, put first things first. Like that quadrant 2 focus,
Yes.
it feels like such a game changer,
Totally.
especially with my goal of writing that novel.
Absolutely. And remember, even small wins build momentum.
Okay.
So schedule that quadrant 2 time, celebrate your progress, and just watch what happens.
Okay, I'm already picturing myself like at a book signing, all thanks to quadrant 2.
I love it.
But what about those times when I stumble, like life throws curveballs and motivation dips,
Right.
How do I stay on track?
Well, that's where Covey's upward spiral comes in.
Mm.
It's that cycle of learning, committing, and doing.
Mhm.
When you fall off, you just learn from it, recommit, and then you just get right back in the game.
Oh, okay. So it's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
That's pretty reassuring because I tend to get discouraged easily.
Yeah,
But this whole progress over perfection thing, it's a real mindset shift.
it is. It is. And, remember, these habits, they're not just for personal gain.
Right.
Covey talks about, creating this ripple effect, impacting the world around us. Imagine what would happen if everyone embraced the win-win thinking.
Right.
Or sought first to understand.
Wow, yeah. That's powerful. It's like by becoming more effective individuals,
Yeah.
we're contributing to a more effective society.
Totally.
Oh, wow. Suddenly self-improvement feels like less selfish and more like a responsibility.
Exactly. It's about becoming the change you want to see.
Yeah.
Starting with yourself and then inspiring others to do the same.
This deep dive has been awesome. I feel like I have a roadmap to a more fulfilling life. A&D, a chance to make a difference. Sign me up.
I'm so glad to hear that. And that's the Covey magic, right? He really empowers us to see our lives as this masterpiece in progress.
Yeah.
Constantly evolving to the choices we make and the actions we take.
So it's not about reaching some final destination. It's more about enjoying the journey of continuous growth.
Absolutely.
I can definitely get on board with that.
Good, good. And remember, you're not alone in this journey.
Mm.
We're here to cheer you on every step of the way. Just keep learning, keep growing, and just keep striving to become the best version of yourself.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the 7 habits.
It has been.
We hope you found it as insightful and empowering as we have.
Definitely.
And remember, the most important takeaway here is to take action. Choose one habit and start practicing it today. You might be surprised by the incredible transformations that unfold.
Absolutely. And we'll be back next week with another deep dive into a topic why you choose. Until then, keep sharpening that saw and making your mark on the world.